Hello there. Welcome back to Missing Out Mondays, where we tell you what we're into. Start your week off right. I'm Tauri J.
I'm Lex Michael.
And today we're joined by my good friend, amazing artist, and fellow podcaster, Conor Fitzgerald.
Hello. Thank you for that great introduction.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro, what are you into?
Y'all, so I got into this actually through my girlfriend, but it is an anime called Revue Starlight. That is not the full name, but if you search for that, Revue Starlight, you will get it. It's very interesting because it's an anime based on a mobile phone game.
Okay.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but what's cool about it is it's a story about this all-girls performing school, and these 9 girls in the theater acting department end up getting enlisted in this supernatural, like, combative arena where the top stage girl is promised any wish that they want. And so this anime is not only a slice of life of the girls kind of connecting together and, like, being friends, but also about these fights, why these people are doing this, what draws people. It ends up becoming an anime about what you're passionate about and what drives you. And it's crazy and funny and emotional at times, and it's only like 12 episodes, and it's animated beautifully.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's my thing.
Okay.
I love it a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like my jam.
Hell yeah.
Can I ask, and if this is a spoiler, you can feel free to say, I don't want to answer that. But is the competition, are these fights, is it like a survival game? Like, do people die, or...
No, so this is actually not a spoiler, and this at first was a turn-off because it like violence, but the way that the fights work is that they all have these outfits with these side capes on, and the combat is won when someone's lapel pin that holds on their cape is knocked off. It's very simple. It's way more fun to watch than it should be. So that, yeah.
Okay,
but it's cool. And there's also some like extra supernatural shit comes in later, and I'm like, I like that.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think that, like, if it were a survival game, that might be a turnoff. But, like, it being slice of life and you kind of, like, getting invested in these girls and not having to see them die sounds appealing to me.
Yes. This is, listen, again, it's emotional, but it's not, like, straight up depressing.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen anime where they like will go very far into being like, this is this person's backstory, this is why you should love them, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I am that person, and then you see them decapitated and you're like, I'm sad for days.
Yeah.
Like that shit, like it is such a staple of anime to like get you so heavily invested in someone just to murder them in the most gruesome way possible. And I'm glad that this isn't that.
This is not that. This is not that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's called Revue Starlight.
Yes.
All right, sweet. Lex, what are you into?
So Netflix just dropped Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus.
Yes.
Which we've talked about on a previous Missing Out Monday segment that I was rewatching the original series as a lead up to the feature revival. Invader Zim was so massively fundamentally crucial as far as informing what my sense of humor was. I think when it first aired, I was about 11 years old, and that's when most of the biggest influences in my life were kind of hitting me all at the same time.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show, and I am just as big a fan of the movie. I feel like it retains absolutely everything I love about the show as far as just how dark and weird and horrifying the entire thing is, but also more heartfelt than I was expecting. Professor Membrane is a bigger character in the feature than they've allowed him to be in the past, and you get to explore Dib's relationship with his dad a little bit, which I really liked seeing. And I also really appreciate that for the most part, and there's a kind of bit of resetting happening towards the end, but for the most part, the thing does function as a series finale. And it's cool to see some semblance of something approximating, if not closure, then certainly resolution to something that is beloved to me from my childhood. Like, that's the age we're living in now. If you liked a thing once and it didn't get an ending, just wait a second. It's going to get one. Tari, I know you watched it as well.
Yes.
Were you like as hot on it as I was? Because like me, here you go. Here's a good indication. So I've watched it twice now. First time I watched it, I was up late. I watched it as soon as it was on Netflix. And my girlfriend was asleep in the back bedroom, and I woke her up because of how loudly I was laughing.
Well, I didn't wake anyone up with my laughter, but I really liked it. I really enjoy the sensibilities. I also liked that you get a little bit of Justin Roiland in there as the food bot, which was cute.
Yeah.
But I also like that it's not self-referential, but like it really plays with a lot of the things that you enjoyed about the show, and also builds on the characters and has a way of letting you spend time with them in new fun ways. Like you get a lot more time with Gaz is the sister's name,
Yes.
Which I really enjoyed. There's a new character who is it a, I don't know if it's a spoiler.
Yeah. Are you thinking about the...
Clembrain?
Yes, Clembrain.
Yeah.
That character is probably my favorite character.
He's quite a bit of character.
He's a lot of character to love.
Oh yeah.
If that's your thing.
And I also the animation itself is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like you even just from the beginning you start to realize with just the regular I think it starts with Gaz and Professor Membrane eating food, and you realize how sleek the lines are and how much or how sophisticated the art itself is, and how much that will lend to the bonkersness that comes later.
Right.
Yeah, and it feels like they didn't stray too far from. I mean, obviously, all of the designs are the same. They didn't stray too far from the look of the original show, but everything feels a little bit more robust. Everything feels like a little bit more like you talk about the lines in particular feel just that much more defined and solid, which is cool. Also, I really dig that the title hit is the first fucking thing that happens. This is not a spoiler, and y'all know what it's called. The title hit.
Oh, man.
Is a very explicit reference to Army of Darkness with the div membrane verses in the smoke font. That's how Sam Raimi opens Army of Darkness. Ash goes through the portal, and then the same fucking thing. It's Bruce Campbell versus Army of Darkness. So right away, I knew that I was among friends and shit.
Yeah. It was I haven't finished watching it because admittedly I started watching before a party started, so I didn't have the time. That being said, I liked what I saw. And I noticed that reference. They had some other references I wasn't expecting, like did JoJo references in the beginning. And it was cool because, again, no matter what you think of the movie itself, it was incredibly faithful. The animation was beautiful. The voice actors were amazing because they picked that shit up like right. Obviously, they did some work, but like it was so faithful, so faithful. I was blown away by how consistently it was done.
Yeah, you brought up the JoJo reference. That was one I wasn't expecting. And it made me realize, like, because when I was watching it, I don't think I was as sophisticated in my anime knowledge, how inspired by the sensibilities of anime it is. Which is phenomenal to like go back and be like, oh, I understand. And I understand how the two influence each other and how both of those things influenced me.
Yeah. And that I will, and sorry, I'm going to do a plug for Jonah Vasquez, but first off, he voiced the computer, which I did not know that. Second, there's an Invader Zim comic series.
Which I just became aware of.
Yes.
Like they're 45 issues in, and now I have shit to read for the next week and stuff.
You need to get in that because I didn't know this because I haven't read them, but my friend was telling me like, oh yeah, the movie is based on a lot of the comics.
I became aware, like when I became aware of it, I looked and I saw some pages that people threw up online, and it's like, oh, the first 10, 15 minutes is lifted, it looks like, almost
from
directly from like that first issue.
Which is so cool. Go buy the comics if you like Invader Zim. Get that money, Jonah. You deserve it.
Well, and also too, like go back even further and check out. Like I became introduced to him because of fucking Johnny the Homicidal Maniac,
which so good.
Which I read when I was way the fuck too young to be reading Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. And from there, I found the Bad Art collection at the same time, and that which I still have my old like tattered copy of the Bad Art collection from like 15 years ago and shit. no, older than that. I'm old now. But like from forever ago. And like then I found Squee, and then like the 2-issue like I Feel Sick. And so knowing now that I can go and check out a ton of new material where Jonan Vasquez is playing in the comic book world again, but also featuring a ton of characters that I didn't realize how much I missed until I saw this feature. That I'm fucking hyped for.
Yeah.
So look forward to the Missing Out Monday where I go on a fucking tear about the 45 issues of Invader Zim that I read.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, man.
What about you, Tauri?
Well, oh my gosh, thank you for asking.
Hey, no problem.
Wow.
Looks like that's all the time we have. So,
all right. Well, thank you for joining. No. Netflix also released something for me. Last weekend, they released season 2 of Mindhunter. If you are unfamiliar with Mindhunter, and I only just started the whole series. Like, I saw that it was coming, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to catch up on the first season. And so I watched the first season over the course of the last 2 days. I have a lot of serial killer in my brain. But if you're unfamiliar with the premise, essentially it takes place before the idea of a serial killer was a thing. So like for the first half of the whole series, they're referring to them as sequence killers, and they're like, must be something else we can call them. But it's essentially Jonathan Groff and Anna Torv, and I forget the name of the other Gruff agent, but they are diving into the behavioral psychology of people who murder, which is a new concept in their world. And so it's them kind of struggling against the bureaucracy of working with the FBI, and they're trying to interview serial killers before the concept exists, and trying to understand why they're doing it. And so it's really them exploring and coming to understand the methodology behind people who kill, and trying to categorize them in different ways. And so you see not just how they're forming their methodology, but you get to see their personalities bounce off of one another. You have Anna Torv, who she's a scholar. Like, she's written books about different behavioral psychology, and so she's really interested in the specific way that they do things. She's like, stick to the script, because we have to make sure that our science is solid. You have Jonathan Groff, he's not a new FBI agent, but he has been shifted from his job as more of a negotiator to a teacher. And so he's really diving into this world. Like, if you were to equate him to a character that people know, I would say he is like the detective in Hannibal, whose name I forget.
Will Graham?
Will Graham, yes.
All right. So I like that show.
Yes. He kind of fills that role in that he is diving into this world, and he gets very much into it. And he's not like as disturbed as Will Graham is, in that like Will Graham had like mental issues, but like he's kind of his world is blurring with these serial killers, and he tries to like get on their level, and everyone is no one's really used to hearing people speak that way. And so especially since it's like, I think it's the late 70s, early 80s, where you hear how uncomfortable people are with words like vagina and period and things like that. And so you're really getting to dive into him and his mental state. And also you have the gruff detective who's been around the block a few times, who's been doing the teaching thing for a long time, and now he's doing this new venture, but he still has all of his old mentalities about it. And so that's the dynamic of this team coming into it. And you really get to explore what makes someone a killer. And they don't shy away from having someone casually talk about, decapitating their mother and then having sex with the head, things of that sort.
Finally, I will see myself represented on screen.
It's about damn time.
Exactly. That's how I felt about Black Panther, and now this.
And to get one after the other like that, what a treat.
Yeah, exactly.
What a treat.
What a time to be alive.
I know.
No, but it's a great show. I think that like it really appeals to me in that like I like if you like things like True Detective or like Hannibal, I think this is going to be your jam.
I keep hearing amazing things about it. And also of note, of interest to me anyway, Damon Harriman is the actor who plays Charles Manson in season 2. And he also played Charlie Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for a very brief appearance in that movie. But yeah, so he gets to do it twice. And so now in my head, shared universe.
Yep.
Because we love those.
That's how it goes.
I think so. Yeah, and I will also say, speaking of the serial killers, I think that they perfectly cast the people who play the serial killers that they are interviewing, and they're all so nuanced and well acted. So, like, if nothing else, I think that is a big draw to the show.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I hate nuance, but that sounds like if you liked that,
look, I get it.
Yeah.
Nuances for suckers.
Just need blatancy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm only here for the decapitated head sex.
Yeah. More of that, please.
Oh, man. Speaking of something with absolutely no nuance, we're going to be talking about The Matrix tomorrow. Connor has been kind enough to bring that in for us. So we're going to be breaking that down, the themes, the characters, the actors, the process of making it, the influence it's had across time, things of that sort, all of the nuances of that movie. So thank you, Connor, for bringing that in.
Of course.
And, oh my gosh, what if someone wants to talk to you about stuff? Where can they find you?
Don't do that. No, I'm at Token Studios on Instagram and Twitter. It's Token Studios with 2 Ks, TOKKEN Studios. That's it. Just find me there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they'll also be able to find you on tomorrow's main show, where, again, we're going to be talking about The Matrix.
And Rider Dice. Sorry, I've got another podcast to do with Tauri. I play a cat in space.
No, dude, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget that podcast.
Okay.
No.
Don't listen to it. No, please listen to it. It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's great. This is, now that you're here, I can talk. Oh, guys, listen to Rider Dice. It's amazing. The sound design is so good.
It really is.
It's very fun.
Yeah. Someone should be very proud of themselves.
Self-plug. Oh, boy.
Oh,
man.
I mean, I did that. It's all good. These things happen.
Lex, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at the Lex Michael.
And you can find me at Tauri J, TAURI, but let us know what you're into. You can do so at Missing Outcast. That's MISSINGOUTCAST on Twitter and Instagram. But if you want to tell us stuff, do it on Twitter, because that's where we respond. But yeah, and make sure to join us tomorrow for the main show. And we will see you then. Thanks again, Connor, for joining us for this mini show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
See you tomorrow.
I'm scared.
You should be.